Before we begin, please remember that the information in this presentation is for educational and inspirational purposes only. It should not be considered financial, legal, or specific business advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making any decisions for your own business. There's a ghost haunting America. It walks down the quiet, empty sidewalks of what used to be bustling main streets. It peers through the dusty windows of vacant storefronts, where for lease signs hang like wilted flags. This is the ghost of the American small business, the one we were told couldn't compete, the one that was supposed to be crushed by the big box giants and the ruthless efficiency of overnight shipping. We've all seen it. We've all felt that pang of sadness walking past a beloved local shop that's been boarded up. For decades, the story we were told was one of decline, a story of David not standing a chance against a world of Goliaths. But what if that story is wrong? What if, while we were all mourning the death of Main Street, a quiet, decentralized, and powerful revolution was happening not in town squares, but in spare bedrooms, garages, and on kitchen tables across the country? What if I told you that in the last 5 years, more small businesses were launched in the United States than in the entire previous decade? This wasn't a government program. It wasn't a miracle. It was the birth of a new kind of Main Street, a digital one. And it is fundamentally changing the fabric of American entrepreneurship forever. This is the story of that revolution. Over the next 10 parts, we are going to pull back the curtain on the single greatest shift for small businesses since the invention of the cash register. This isn't just about selling things online. This is about the complete rewriting of the rules of commerce. We're going to show you exactly how a candle maker in rural Vermont can build a national brand that rivals department store chains. We're going to break down the strategies a guy in his garage in Phoenix, Arizona, is using to sell custom-made furniture to customers in all 50 states. And most importantly, we're going to give you the blueprint, the roadmap that shows how the American dream of owning your own successful business is not only alive and well, it's more accessible now than at any point in human history, all because of one thing: your own e-commerce website. This series is for anyone who has a product, a passion, or even just an idea, and wants to understand how to turn it into a thriving business that isn't limited by the 3 blocks your store is on. To understand the sheer magnitude of this change, you have to remember what it was like. Think about opening a small shop just 20 years ago. The first thing you needed was a location, physical place, and that location dictated everything. It dictated your rent, which was probably your biggest expense. It dictated your customer base. You could only sell to people who could physically walk or drive to your store. Your success was literally tied to your zip code. Your hours were 9 to 5, maybe 10 to 6 on a Saturday. If a customer wanted to buy your product at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday, too bad. They couldn't. You were also at the mercy of things you couldn't control. A bad winter with too much snow? Your sales would plummet. The city decides to do road construction on your street for 6 months? You might as well shut your doors. You were playing a game on a very small, very expensive, and very fragile board. Your marketing was a shot in the dark. You'd take out an ad in the local paper, print a few thousand flyers, and just hope that the right person saw it at the right time. You were shouting into a void, spending money without ever really knowing if it was working. You were competing not just with the other small shops, but with the massive soul-crushing gravity of the superstore on the edge of town, the one with a parking lot the size of a football field and prices slashed so low you couldn't possibly compete. It was a constant, uphill battle fought on their terms. Now let's step into today. The new American storefront isn't made of brick and mortar. It's made of pixels and code, and it changes everything. Your location is no longer a street address. It's a domain name. Your customer base is no longer your town. It is the entire English-speaking world, or whichever market you choose to target. Your rent isn't thousands of dollars a month for a physical space. It's $100 a year for web hosting. Suddenly, the biggest barrier to entry, the sheer cost of getting started, has been obliterated. Your store is never closed. It is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is making sales for you while you're sleeping, while you're on vacation, while you're having dinner with your family. The snowstorm that would have bankrupted the old business? It's now your best sales day of the year, because everyone is stuck at home on their phones shopping. The road construction? It doesn't matter. The internet superhighway is always open, and there are a million different routes to your digital doorstep. And the marketing? This is where the revolution truly becomes a route. Forget shouting into the void. Digital marketing allows you to whisper directly into the ear of your perfect customer. Imagine you sell high-end, custom-made leather dog collars. In the old world, how would you find your customers? You couldn't. You just have to hope a few of them wandered into your pet store. Today, you can run an ad that is shown only to people who have recently searched for luxury dog accessories, who live in high-income zip codes, and who have previously shown interest in other premium pet brands. You're not just finding customers, you're finding your customers. It's like having a heat-seeking missile for people who are already looking for exactly what you sell. This is a power that, just a generation ago, was reserved for only the largest corporations with nine-figure marketing budgets. Today it's available to you, to anyone, for the price of a few cups of coffee. This is the great equalizer. An e-commerce website, when done right, levels the playing field in a way we've never seen before. A one-person operation run from a basement can have a website that is as beautiful, as functional, and as trustworthy as the website for Target or Walmart. The customer doesn't know or care if your fulfillment center is your garage. All they see is a professional, seamless shopping experience. They see a great product, a compelling story, and an easy way to buy it. You are no longer judged by the size of your storefront, but by the quality of your brand and the strength of your story. This is the secret weapon of the modern small business. The Goliaths, the big box stores, are built for mass appeal. They have to be bland. They have to be generic to please everyone. You don't. You can be niche. You can be authentic. You can tell your story. You can connect with your customers on a human level. People don't just buy a product, they buy into a story, a mission, a person. And your website is the stage where you tell that story. It's your digital main street, and the best part is you own the whole block. You control the entire experience from the moment someone lands on your page to the moment they unbox your product. That is a powerful, intimate connection that the giants of retail can only dream of. But let's be clear. This isn't a magic ticket to overnight riches. Just because you build a website doesn't mean customers will magically appear. The new landscape, this digital main street, has its own challenges. The very same accessibility that makes it possible for you to start a business also makes it possible for 10,000 other people to do the same. The void you used to shout into is now a crowded stadium, with everyone screaming for attention. The question is no longer, how do I open a store? The question is, how do I get noticed? How do you build a website that doesn't just look good, but actually converts visitors into paying customers? How do you handle the logistics of shipping, returns, and customer service when you're a team of one? How do you create a brand that people fall in love with? A brand that stands out from the endless sea of online noise. It's not enough to just open your digital doors. You need a strategy. You need the right tools. You need to understand the psychology of the online shopper. And that is exactly what we are going to explore. We'll look at the fundamental building blocks of a successful e-commerce business, from choosing the right platform to mastering the art of product photography. We'll dive into the marketing strategies that actually move the needle, and how to turn a first-time buyer into a repeat customer who acts as a brand evangelist for you. We'll show you how to build a system that allows your business to grow without you being chained to it 24/7. This series is your guide to navigating the new American dream. So let's begin. To understand this revolution, let's go back just a few decades. Picture a small town, somewhere in the American heartland. On its main street, there's a hardware store, a bakery, a little shop that sells handmade leather goods. The owner of that leather shop, let's call her Clara, is a master of her craft. She can take a raw piece of hide and turn it into a wallet so durable it could be passed down through generations, or a belt so perfectly finished it feels like a piece of art. Her work is incredible, but her business has a ceiling, a hard, unbreachable limit. That limit is the population of her town, and maybe the next town over. Her customer base is defined by a zip code. Her success is tethered to foot traffic, to the local economy, to whether or not tourists decide to stop on their way to a national park. This was the reality for millions of small business owners. They were masters of their craft, but prisoners of their geography. This was the model for over a century. You build a great product, you open a store, and you hope people walk in. Your world was your block, your neighborhood, your city. The idea of selling one of Clara's wallets to someone in California or a student in Boston was a fantasy. It would require a miracle of logistics, expensive magazine ads, complex mail-order catalogs, dealing with distributors who would take a massive cut and sever the relationship between the creator and the customer. The dream wasn't to build a global brand from your workshop. The dream was to maybe, one day, open a second location in the next county. The scale was fundamentally, physically limited. The American dream for many was a local dream. Then the internet happened. First, it was a curiosity, a blinking cursor on a black screen, the screech of a dial-up modem. It was a place for academics and hobbyists. But then, slowly, the first digital storefronts began to appear. They were clunky, ugly, and hard to use. You practically needed a degree in computer science to build one, and another to buy something from one. But they represented something seismic, a crack in the foundation of local commerce. For the first time, a seller in Montana could, in theory, connect directly with a buyer in Florida without a middleman. The tyranny of geography had met its first real challenger. This was the Wild West phase. Big companies with huge budgets like Amazon and eBay staked their claims. They built the first digital empires. For a small business owner like Clara, this new world was still largely out of reach. Building a website that could securely process a credit card was a monumental task, costing tens of thousands of dollars. It was a game for the big players. The promise of the internet was there, but the keys to the kingdom were locked away. The small business owner was still standing on Main Street, looking through the window at a party they weren't invited to. And then came the great democratization. A wave of innovation led by companies like Shopify, Squarespace, and BigCommerce changed everything. They looked at the complex, expensive process of building an online store and asked a revolutionary question. What if it were easy? What if it were affordable? What if anyone, and we mean anyone, with a product to sell could have a beautiful, professional, global storefront in a matter of hours, for the cost of a few cups of coffee a month? This was the moment the floodgates opened. Suddenly, the tools of global commerce were not the exclusive property of multinational corporations. They were handed to Clara in her workshop, to the baker who wanted to ship his famous cookies nationwide, to the teenager in a garage screen printing t-shirts with her own designs. The complex code, the payment gateways, the security certificates, it was all handled. The platform took care of the technical headaches, leaving the business owner to do what they do best: create an amazing product and tell their story. This wasn't just an improvement, it was a paradigm shift. It was like going from having to build your own car from scratch just to drive down the street, to being handed the keys to a Ferrari with a full tank of gas. This shift created a new model, one that is fundamentally rewiring American business. Direct-to-consumer, or DTC. Before, Clara would have to sell her wallets wholesale to a big department store. That store would mark up the price by 100, 200, even 300%. They would control how the product was displayed, they would own the relationship with the customer, and they would take the lion's share of the profit. Clara, the creator, the artisan, was just a line item on an invoice. With her own e-commerce site, the power dynamic flips entirely. She sets the price. She tells the story behind her craft, with pictures of her workshop, with videos of her stitching the leather. She talks directly to her customers through email and social media. When someone buys a wallet, she knows their name. She can thank them personally. She can ask for their feedback. And most importantly, she keeps the profit. That extra margin doesn't go to a corporate middleman in a skyscraper. It goes back into her business, to buy better leather, to hire a local apprentice, to support her family. It stays on her Main Street, even if her customers are 1,000 miles away. So let's go back to Clara. One day she takes the leap. She spends a weekend, not weeks, building her website. She takes beautiful photos of her products, bathed in the Montana sunlight. She writes about her grandfather, who taught her the craft. She sets her prices, connects her bank account, and with a click, her little shop is no longer just on a quiet street in a small town. It's now on the busiest street in the world, the internet. For a week, nothing happens. She wonders if she made a mistake. Then one Tuesday morning, while she's working at her bench, her phone makes a sound she's never heard before. A little cha-ching. It's an email notification from her new store. Order number 001. Someone in San Diego, California, just bought her best-selling wallet. A complete stranger 3 states away found her little workshop, fell in love with her craft, and became her first customer. That single cha-ching is more than just a sale. It's the sound of a wall crumbling. It's the sound of freedom. It's the sound of the new American dream being born. Not in a boardroom, but in a small workshop powered by a simple website. This is the profound change. The concept of Main Street hasn't vanished. It has been digitized and liberated from the constraints of asphalt and concrete. The new Main Street is infinite. It's a sprawling, vibrant, global marketplace where the smallest, most niche businesses can find their audience. The storefront is no longer made of brick and mortar. It's made of pixels and code. And it's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to anyone with an internet connection. The barrier to entry for starting a business hasn't just been lowered, it has been vaporized. But this new digital Main Street is not a commercial utopia. It comes with its own set of monumental challenges. Getting the store built is now the easy part. The real battle is getting people to walk through the digital door. In a marketplace with millions of stores, all screaming for attention, how does a small leatherworker from Montana get noticed? How do you compete against the billion-dollar advertising budgets of the giants? Your store might be open to the world, but you can feel like you're shouting into a hurricane. Building the shop is one thing. Getting the world to find it, that is a completely different war. And in that war, the small business owner can't fight with brute force. They have to fight with intelligence. They have to be the guerrilla warrior, not the lumbering army. The first and perhaps most powerful weapon in this new arsenal is something that sounds incredibly technical, but at its core is beautifully simple: search engine optimization. SEO. Now, for years, SEO got a bad rap. It was seen as this dark art of stuffing keywords onto a page and trying to trick Google's algorithm. But that's the old way. Today, SEO is not about tricking a robot. It's about genuinely helping a human. Think about it. What is Google? It's an answer machine. People go there with problems, with questions, with needs. Where can I find durable hiking boots? What's the best organic baby food? How to fix a leaky faucet? The businesses that win on Google are the ones that provide the best, most helpful, most authoritative answer to that question. This is where the small business has a secret advantage. A massive corporation like Walmart has to be everything to everyone. Their website is a sprawling metropolis of a million different products. But a small business can be the world's leading expert on one very specific thing. Take the story of a woman named Clara from rural Vermont who started a business making artisanal, hand-poured candles. If she tried to rank on Google for the word candles, she'd be vaporized. She'd be competing against Yankee Candle, Bath & Body Works, Amazon itself. It would be a futile, expensive fight. But Clara wasn't just making candles. She was making non-toxic, beeswax candles scented with locally sourced essential oils, specifically for people with allergies and sensitivities. So she didn't try to answer the question, where to buy candles. She focused on answering the question, what are the best candles for people with asthma? She wrote blog posts about it. She made detailed product pages explaining why beeswax is a natural air purifier, why paraffin wax releases toxins. She created a guide on which essential oils are least likely to trigger a reaction. She wasn't just selling a product, she was solving a problem. She was becoming the most trusted voice in a tiny, overlooked corner of the internet. And slowly but surely Google noticed. When someone, anywhere in the United States, typed in hypoallergenic candles or safe candles for allergies, Clara's little Vermont website started showing up. Not on page 10. On page 1, each click wasn't from a random browser. It was from a desperate customer who had finally found the exact solution they'd been searching for. She didn't spend a dime on Google Ads for this. She spent her time, her knowledge, her passion. She outmaneuvered the giants not by shouting louder, but by whispering the perfect answer to the right person at the exact moment they were asking the question. That is the magic of modern SEO. It levels the playing field, rewarding expertise and passion over sheer size. But getting found when someone is looking for you is only half the battle. What about all the people who don't know they need you yet? This is where the second great weapon comes into play: social media. If Google is the world's biggest library where people go with intent, then social media is the world's biggest town square. It's a place for discovery, for community, for connection. And for small businesses, this is where they can do something the megacorporations fundamentally cannot. They can be human. A Fortune 500 company's Instagram account is polished, focus grouped, and managed by a team of marketing professionals. It's often sterile and impersonal, but a small business owner can use that same platform to share their soul. Consider a guy named Ben in Austin, Texas, who quit his IT job to restore and sell vintage axes. It's a niche of a niche. On his e-commerce site, he has beautiful photos of the finished products. But on his Instagram and TikTok, he shows the process. He posts a video of a rusty, forgotten axe head he found at a flea market. You see him painstakingly removing the rust, sharpening the edge until it glimmers, sanding the worn wooden handle, and treating it with oil. You hear the sound of the steel on the grinding wheel. You see the sweat on his brow and the genuine pride in his eyes when he holds up the finished product. He's not just selling an axe. He's selling a story of restoration. He's selling craftsmanship, American heritage, and the satisfaction of bringing something old back to life. People follow him not because they're in the market for an axe today, but because they are captivated by his passion. They become part of his community, they root for him, and when their friend's birthday comes up, or they finally decide they need a quality tool for their own workshop, who are they going to think of? The faceless hardware aisle at Home Depot or Ben? The guy from Austin whose journey they've been following for 6 months? That is a connection a billion-dollar ad budget can't buy. It's the ultimate competitive advantage. Small businesses on social media aren't just brands. They're personalities. They're stories in motion. And in a world of automated, impersonal commerce, people are starved for that kind of authentic connection. But there's a danger here. Both SEO and social media are built on rented land. Google can change its algorithm overnight and your rankings can disappear. Facebook or Instagram can decide to limit your reach, forcing you to pay for ads to talk to the very audience you built. It happens all the time. It's the digital equivalent of a landlord tripling your rent with no warning. So what's the solution? How do you build a business that's truly yours? This leads us to the third and arguably most vital weapon in the digital arsenal: the email list. It might sound old-fashioned, almost boring compared to the flash of TikTok or the complexity of SEO. But an email list is the single most important asset a small e-commerce business can have. Why? Because you own it. It is your direct, unfiltered line of communication to your customers. No algorithm can stand in your way. It's your own private island in the vast, chaotic ocean of the internet. Every time Clara, the candle maker, gets a new customer, she offers them a chance to join her newsletter for tips on creating a non-toxic home. Every time Ben, the axe restorer, gets a new follower, he has a link in his bio to sign up for early access to his latest creations. They aren't just making a sale, they are building a relationship. Through email, Clara doesn't just announce sales. She shares her latest research on clean-burning wicks. She tells the story of the local beekeeper she sources her beeswax from. She creates a bond built on trust and shared values. Through email, Ben gives his subscribers a behind-the-scenes look at a particularly challenging restoration. He asks their opinion on what type of handle he should make next. He makes them feel like insiders, like part of the workshop. This is not spam. This is valuable, personal communication. It transforms a one-time buyer into a repeat customer, and a repeat customer into a loyal advocate for the brand. When you have a direct line to the inbox of 1,000 true fans, you have a resilient, sustainable business that isn't at the mercy of Silicon Valley's ever-changing whims. These three tools, search, social, and email, form the new foundation of small business marketing. They are a powerful trinity that allows a craftsperson in Vermont or a restorer in Texas to not just compete, but to thrive against the biggest retailers in the world. They allow businesses to be found, to build a community, and to nurture that community directly. But getting the customer to the site was just the first battle. The real war for their loyalty, the one that determines if you're a one-hit wonder or a lasting brand, begins the second they click Add to Cart. That click feels like a victory, a finish line. All the marketing, the beautiful photography, the carefully crafted product descriptions, it all led to this single decisive action. But it's a fragile victory. The customer hasn't actually bought anything yet. They've simply placed an item into a digital shopping cart. And in the world of e-commerce, the space between the cart and the confirmation page is a graveyard littered with lost sales. It's called cart abandonment, and it is the single greatest dream killer for small online businesses. The numbers are staggering. Depending on the industry, somewhere between 70 and 80% of all online shopping carts are abandoned. Think about that. For every 10 customers who are interested enough in your product to add it to their cart, 7 or 8 of them will vanish into thin air before they give you a single dollar. They'll close the tab, get distracted by a notification, or simply change their mind. It's like running a retail store where 8 out of every 10 people who walk up to the cash register, wallet in hand, suddenly turn around and walk out for no apparent reason. You'd go out of business in a week. So what's happening in this digital no man's land? What is this invisible force field that repels so many paying customers at the final moment? The primary culprit is friction. Every extra step, every unexpected cost, every confusing form field is a point of friction that grinds the customer's momentum to a halt. The number one reason for cart abandonment by a huge margin is unexpected costs. The customer sees a t-shirt for $25. They've mentally agreed to that price. They click Add to Cart, go to checkout, and suddenly, after entering their address, they're hit with a $9 shipping fee and $2 in taxes. That $25 shirt is now a $36 shirt. The psychological contract has been broken. The price they agreed to in their mind is not the price on the screen. It feels like a bait and switch, even if it's not intentional. And so they leave. The second biggest killer? Forcing the customer to create an account. Think about the mindset of a first-time buyer. They don't know you yet. They're not ready to commit to a long-term relationship, to give you their data, to create yet another password they'll have to remember. They just want to buy the thing. When a website throws up a create an account wall, it's like a cashier demanding your social security number just to buy a gallon of milk. It's an overreach. It's more friction. It asks for too much too soon. This is the battlefield where small businesses face their Goliath, Amazon. Jeff Bezos didn't just build an everything store. He built a frictionless buying machine. The patent for their one-click checkout was filed back in 1997. They understood decades ago that the goal was to remove every possible barrier, every moment of hesitation, between desire and purchase. With Amazon, your address is saved, your card is on file. The price you see is often the price you pay, with shipping included in Prime. The purchase process is so seamless it's almost subconscious. It's a powerful gravitational force that has trained an entire generation of consumers to expect instant, thoughtless transactions. How can a small business, a soap maker in Vermont or a leather worker in Texas, possibly compete with that? They can't out-Amazon Amazon. They can't build a trillion-dollar logistics network. But they can be smarter. They can be more human. They can win the war for loyalty not by being frictionless, but by building trust where Amazon builds convenience. The fight back starts with radical transparency. Instead of hiding shipping costs until the final page, smart businesses put them front and center. They integrate zip code calculators on the product page. They offer a flat shipping rate, or better yet, they are honest about the cost of free shipping by building it into their product price. They eliminate the sticker shock. They treat the customer like an intelligent partner in the transaction, not a mark to be tricked. They also wage war on the create an account page. The solution is simple. Guest checkout. It's a clear signal to the customer that you respect their time and their privacy. Just want to buy this one thing? No problem. Give us the bare minimum information we need to get it to you and we're good. It's a handshake, not a marriage proposal. They can always create an account later if they choose to, after you've earned their trust by delivering a great product. And they're closing the technology gap. Services like Shopify with their integrated Shop Pay, or the universal adoption of Apple Pay and Google Pay, are the small business's answer to one click. These tools securely store a customer's information and allow them to check out across millions of independent stores with a fingerprint or a face scan. It's the great equalizer. It gives the little guy the same checkout speed as the giant, leveling the playing field in that critical final moment. But the real advantage, the secret weapon for small businesses, isn't found in a piece of code. It's in what happens after the customer clicks, confirm purchase. For Amazon, that click is the end of the transaction. For a great small business, it's the beginning of the relationship. Let's talk about the confirmation email. For most companies, it's an afterthought, a boring, automated receipt with an order number. But for a savvy brand, this is the most valuable piece of real estate in the entire customer journey. It's an email the customer is guaranteed to open. It's a direct, one-to-one line of communication. Instead of a sterile receipt, imagine an email that reaffirms their great decision. It could include a personal thank you from the founder, a short video showing how to care for the product they just bought, a link to the company's Instagram so they can see their new item in action. It transforms a cold transaction into a warm welcome. Then comes the agonizing wait for the package to arrive. This used to be a black hole of anxiety for customers, a period of silence where their excitement could curdle into buyer's remorse. Small businesses are now turning this into another opportunity to shine. Instead of just sending a cryptic tracking number that links to a generic UPS page, they're using platforms that create a branded tracking experience. The customer clicks the link and is taken back to the brand's website, to a page that not only shows a map of their package's journey, but also showcases other products, shares blog posts, or offers a discount on their next purchase. They keep the customer inside their world, reinforcing the brand identity at every step. And finally, the moment of truth, the unboxing. This is where small businesses can deliver an experience that a behemoth like Amazon could never replicate at scale. Amazon delivers a product, A small business can deliver a story. It's the difference between receiving a product in a standard brown box with a plastic air pillow and receiving a beautifully designed, custom-printed box. Inside, the product is wrapped in tissue paper, sealed with a sticker. There's a handwritten thank you card personally signed. Maybe there's a small, unexpected gift, a sample of another product, or a piece of candy. This isn't just about packaging. It's about tangible gratitude. It's a physical manifestation of the care and passion that went into the product itself. It makes the customer feel seen, valued, and special. This is the moment that turns a customer into an evangelist. This is the moment they take out their phone, snap a picture, and post it on social media with the caption, "Look what I got." They become a voluntary, passionate member of your marketing team. This entire post-purchase journey, from the confirmation email to the unboxing, is the new frontier of e-commerce. It's where small businesses are not only surviving but thriving. They've realized they can't win by being a cheaper or faster version of Amazon. They have to win by being a more human, more memorable, and more meaningful alternative. They are transforming the simple act of buying something online from a sterile digital transaction into a rich, emotional experience. They are proving that in the war for loyalty, the final delivery isn't just about the product in the box, but the feeling it leaves behind. And that feeling is a powerful defense, but it's about to be put to the ultimate test when something inevitably goes wrong. Because the package that arrives crushed, the custom engraved gift with the name spelled wrong, the dress that shows up a day after the wedding, these aren't just logistical errors anymore. They are public spectacles waiting to happen. In the analog age, a mistake like that might have resulted in an angry phone call and a lost customer. In the digital age, it can result in a one-star review, a blistering social media post, and a permanent stain on a reputation that took years to build. This is the new battleground for small businesses. The court of public opinion, held on the product pages of Amazon, the review sections of Google, and the comment threads of Instagram. Welcome to the age of radical transparency, where every customer is a potential critic with a global megaphone. For a small business, this is terrifying. A single, well-written, emotionally charged negative review can tank a product's rating, scare off hundreds of potential buyers, and trigger a cascade of doubt. Feels deeply unfair. The one order out of 1,000 that went wrong is now the defining story of your brand, broadcast for the world to see, while the 999 happy customers remain silent. This digital town square has no context, no nuance, and often no mercy. We saw this happen to a small, family-run apiary in Vermont that sold artisanal honey online. They had a stellar 5-star record. One day, a shipment to California was delayed during a summer heat wave. The glass jars arrived sticky, with some of the honey having seeped out. The customer, furious, didn't just leave a 1-star review. They posted photos, accused the company of shipping a disgusting, unsanitary mess, and claimed the product was unsafe. Within 48 hours, the apiary's sales dropped by 70%. The owner felt helpless, watching years of hard work get dismantled by a single unfortunate shipping incident amplified by the internet's outrage machine. This is the razor's edge that every small e-commerce business lives on. The very tools that allow them to reach a national audience are the same ones that can amplify their failures to catastrophic levels. But here's the fascinating part. The smartest businesses aren't trying to avoid failure. They know it's inevitable. Instead, they are mastering the art of the public recovery. They've realized that a negative review isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of an opportunity. It's a chance to perform customer service on a public stage. And a masterful performance can be worth more than 100 5-star reviews. Let's go back to that Vermont honey company. The owner's first instinct was to post a defensive reply, to explain the heat wave, to point out their otherwise perfect record. But they didn't. Instead, they took a breath and executed a playbook that has become the gold standard for turning crisis into loyalty. First, they responded publicly right on the review page. The response didn't make excuses. It started with, "You are absolutely right to be upset. We are so sorry that our honey arrived in this condition. This is not the experience we want for any of our customers, and we've let you down." This first step is critical. It validates the customer's frustration and immediately de-escalates the situation. It shows every other person reading the review that the company isn't trying to hide. They're taking ownership. The second part of the public message was, "We have already shipped you a brand new complimentary order, this time packed with cold packs, and have issued you a full refund. We've also sent you a direct message to personally apologize." Notice what happened. They solved the problem before the customer even had to ask. They took the solution public but the negotiation private. They didn't just fix the issue. They went above and beyond. A refund and a new product. But they weren't done. The owner then posted a short video on their social media. He was in the packing room, showing the new insulated boxes in cold packs they were now using for all shipments to warmer states. He held up a box and said, "We had a failure this week that was brought to our attention by a customer. It was a tough lesson but a valuable one. We're better today because of it. This is what we're doing now to make sure it never happens again." The result was astonishing. The angry customer in California, stunned by the response, not only removed their 1-star review, they replaced it with a 5-star epic. They detailed the entire story. The initial problem, the incredible response, the personal follow-up. That new review, the one born from a disaster, was now the most powerful piece of marketing the company had. It was a story not of a perfect company, but of a profoundly human and accountable one. Potential customers reading that review didn't see a company that makes mistakes. They saw a company that will, without question, make things right if a mistake happens. That is an infinitely more powerful promise. Sales didn't just recover, they surpassed previous levels. This is the redemption narrative, and it's psychologically potent. We don't trust perfection because we know it's not real. We trust accountability. We trust companies that show they care more about their customers than their own ego or bottom line. In the anonymous, often sterile world of e-commerce, seeing a business owner publicly own a mistake and fix it with grace creates a powerful emotional connection. It transforms customer service from a cost center into a marketing engine. Of course, there is a darker side to this. The power of the online review has not gone unnoticed by those who wish to abuse it. We now see the rise of review bombing, where competitors or malicious actors coordinate to flood a business with fake 1-star reviews. Or the customer who uses the threat of a bad review as a form of blackmail to get free products or discounts. For a small business owner, distinguishing between a legitimate complaint and a bad faith attack can be an exhausting and demoralizing process. The platforms from Amazon to Google are locked in a constant technological arms race against these tactics, but for the business owner on the ground, it can feel like they're fighting a ghost. But even with these challenges, the core principle remains. The public nature of e-commerce feedback has forced a revolutionary shift. It's no longer enough to have a great product. It's no longer enough to have a good price. The digital marketplace demands a new type of resilience, the ability to not just survive your mistakes, but to transform them into your greatest strengths. It's a high-wire act performed with no safety net, where every misstep is visible. But for those who learn to balance, it offers a chance to build a kind of trust and loyalty that old-school advertising could only dream of. They're proving that the most memorable brands aren't the ones that never fall, but the ones that get back up with integrity. This feedback loop, this direct, unfiltered, and often brutal line of communication between consumer and creator, is a fundamental force reshaping American business. But it's only one part of the equation, because even if you have 1,000 glowing reviews, they're worthless if no one ever sees them. And the decision of who sees what is not made by a person, but by something far more complex and opaque, the algorithm. It's not a person, it's not a committee, it's not even a single entity you can point to. The algorithm is a sprawling, self-optimizing system of logic designed with one, and only one primary goal: to show a customer the exact product they are most likely to buy, at the exact moment they're looking for it. It doesn't care about your story, your passion, or the years you spent perfecting your craft. It cares about data. It is the invisible hand, the silent kingmaker of the digital marketplace. And for a small business, learning its language isn't just an advantage, it's survival. Think of it this way. Imagine you own a small artisanal coffee shop in a massive, sprawling city. You source the best beans, you roast them to perfection, your latte art is impeccable. But your shop is tucked away on a side street with no sign. Meanwhile, on the main highway, there's a giant billboard for a generic, corporate coffee chain. The algorithm is that highway, and your product listing is that side street. Having the better coffee is meaningless if no one can find the road that leads to you. The algorithm's job is to build the roads, erect the billboards, and direct the traffic. And it only directs traffic to the places it knows people are already going and spending money. This was the brutal reality for people like Maria Flores, a third-generation woodworker from Oregon. She'd taken her family's small custom furniture business online. Her flagship product was a handcrafted walnut side table, a piece of genuine artistry that took her 40 hours to make. She took beautiful photos, wrote a heartfelt description about her grandfather teaching her the trade, and listed it on a major e-commerce platform. And then crickets. Weeks went by. Few clicks, no sales. Her masterpiece was buried on page 17 of the search results for Side Table, a digital graveyard where products go to die. Maria was doing what so many small business owners do. She was thinking like an artist, like a creator. She was trying to sell a product. The algorithm doesn't want you to sell a product. It wants you to feed it data. It's a hungry, relentless machine. And if you don't give it the fuel it needs, it will simply ignore you. So what is this fuel? Comes down to a few key ingredients. The first and most important is relevance. Keywords. When a customer types Side Table into a search bar, the algorithm instantly scans millions of listings. It's looking for those exact words. Maria's title was The Flores Family Legacy Table. It was beautiful, but it was useless. The algorithm isn't a poet. It's a hyperliteral matching engine. It saw table, but it didn't see side, end, living room, walnut, mid-century, or modern. All the terms that actual customers were searching for were missing. She was speaking English to a machine that only understood code. So she started her education. She began researching. She used tools to see what customers were actually typing. They weren't searching for legacy. They were searching for round wood end table for small spaces, or solid wood nightstand with drawer. She had to deconstruct her art into a string of searchable logical data points. She changed her title. She rewrote her description, not with flowery prose, but with bullet points packed with dimensions, materials, and use cases. She filled out every possible field in the back end of her listing, telling the algorithm this wasn't just a table. It was a piece of furniture made of walnut, for a living room or a bedroom, with a modern aesthetic. She was for the first time speaking the algorithm's language, and the algorithm for the first time started to listen. Her table crept from page 17 to page 9. It was a start. But keywords are just the ticket to the game. They don't guarantee you'll win. The next crucial piece of fuel is the conversion rate. Of all the signals a business can send, a sale is the loudest. A sale is the ultimate proof to the platform that you have what the people want. When 100 people see your product, how many of them actually buy it? That percentage, your conversion rate, is a vote of confidence. A high conversion rate tells the algorithm, hey, when you send traffic here, people spend money. This is a good bet. Send more. Maria's new, keyword-rich listing was getting more views, but her conversion rate was still low. Why? Because her main photo, while beautiful, showed the table in a dimly lit artistic setting. It looked great, but it didn't clearly show the customer what they were getting. Her price, which reflected 40 hours of skilled labor, seemed high next to mass-produced particle board tables. She wasn't just competing on quality anymore. She was competing on data points. So she adapted again. She took new photos against a clean white background, showing the table from every angle. She added a picture with a coffee mug and a book on it to show its scale. She even created a short video showing the smooth action of the drawer. She was answering customer questions before they were even asked, removing friction, and making the decision to click Add to Cart that much easier. She also realized she couldn't compete on price with the cheap stuff, so she had to compete on value. She changed her description to emphasize solid American walnut versus the laminate veneer of her competitors. She was justifying her price, not just stating it. Slowly, a few sales trickled in. And this is where the magic really begins. This is where the third ingredient comes in: sales velocity. An object in motion stays in motion. The algorithm loves momentum. A product that sold once is more likely to sell again. A product that sells 10 times in one day is a rocket ship. The platform sees that velocity and thinks, this is hot. We need to push this. Put it on page 1. Show it to more people. Every sale Maria made was a signal. A drop of fuel that made the engine burn a little hotter, pushing her listing a little higher in the rankings. The higher she got, the more people saw her table. The more people saw it, the more she sold. It's a self-perpetuating feedback loop, a digital snowball effect. Within 3 months, Maria's table was on the first page for half a dozen different search terms. She was selling 2 or 3 a day. She went from being an invisible artist to a thriving e-commerce business. She hadn't changed her product. The table was the same masterpiece it had always been. What she changed was her understanding of the system. She stopped seeing the platform as a simple store and started seeing it as a complex, data-driven game. She learned the rules and she learned how to win. Her story is the story of hundreds of thousands of small businesses across America. The ones who succeed are not always the ones with the best product. They are the ones who understand that in the world of e-commerce you have two customers, the person who buys your product and the algorithm that decides if they'll ever get the chance. They master the art of speaking to both. Maria had cracked the code. The sales started pouring in, first 1, then 5, then 10 a day. She had conquered the ghost in the machine. But in doing so, she had unleashed an entirely different kind of monster. The crushing physical reality of success. The first box was a joy, a celebration, proof that her dream had a physical form. Sarah wrapped the hand-carved wooden bird with the care of a museum curator, nestled it in biodegradable packing peanuts, and wrote a heartfelt thank you note by hand. The trip to the post office felt like a victory lap. The 10th box was a routine. The process was familiar now, a well-practiced dance of tape gun, label printer, and cardboard. The 50th box was a chore. The 100th box was a prison. Her living room, once a sanctuary of creativity filled with the scent of sawdust and varnish, now smelled of cardboard dust and adhesive. Towers of flat-packed boxes leaned precariously against the walls, a beige corrugated jungle that had consumed her sofa. Her dining table was gone, buried under a mountain of shipping labels, bubble wrap, and a digital scale that had become the unforgiving judge of her every waking hour. This was the monster. Not a ghost in the machine, but a physical beast made of time, tape, and sheer volume. Every cha-ching notification from her Shopify app, once a dopamine hit of validation, now landed like the crack of a whip. Another order. Another box. Another trip to the post office, her car stuffed so full she could barely see out the rearview mirror. She was no longer an artist, a creator, a business owner. She was a human fulfillment machine. Her days became a blur of repetitive motion. Print the slip. Find the product. Wrap the product. Find the right size box. Build the box. Add the fill. Add the product. Add the thank you note. Seal the box. Print the label. Affix the label. Weigh the box. Stack the box. The romance was gone, replaced by the brutalist efficiency of an assembly line of one. Her hands, once skilled at carving delicate details into wood, were now dry, calloused, and covered in paper cuts. And with the orders came the emails, an endless flooding tide of human complexity crashing against her carefully constructed digital storefront. Where is my package? My tracking number isn't working. This arrived broken. Your packaging is terrible. I accidentally put in the wrong address. Can you ship another one to my new address for free? I ordered the blue one, but I meant to order the green one. Can I exchange it? Each email was a small fire she had to put out, pulling her away from the mountain of boxes that was itself a raging inferno. She'd be taping a box shut, phone propped against a roll of bubble wrap, trying to sound calm and professional while explaining to a customer in a different time zone why their package was delayed by a snowstorm in a state she'd never even been to. The dream of being her own boss had become a nightmare of being her own worst employee. A relentless taskmaster who demanded 18-hour days, 7 days a week. The business was growing, but her life was shrinking, compressed into the 4.5-inch sides of a standard shipping box. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. She had received a massive order from a small boutique in Oregon, 30 pieces. It should have been a moment of pure triumph, the kind of wholesale order she had dreamed of. Instead, looking at the order confirmation, she felt a wave of dread so profound it made her sit down on the floor, right there amidst the cardboard chaos. She didn't have the inventory. Her website said she had 32. But as she frantically counted the items on her shelves, her heart sinking with each number, she realized she only had 20. A typo in her inventory count from weeks ago, a simple human error, had cascaded into a catastrophic failure. She had sold ghost inventory. Now she had to email this new, important client and tell them she couldn't fulfill the order they had already paid for. It was a failure of process, a failure of management. It was her failure. She was so busy working in her business, packing, shipping, answering emails, that she had spent zero time working on her business. She wasn't steering the ship. She was just bailing water out as fast as she could, and the ocean was winning. That night, unable to sleep, she fell down a rabbit hole of forums and YouTube videos for burnt-out entrepreneurs. And that's where she saw the acronym that would change her life. 3PL. Third-party logistics. The concept was so simple, yet it felt like a paradigm-shifting revelation. There were entire companies, massive warehouses filled with other people's products, whose sole purpose was to do the very things that were destroying her. You ship them your inventory in bulk. They store it. When an order comes into your website, it's automatically routed to their system. A professional, someone who is not you, walks to a bin, picks your product, packs it expertly in the correct box, and ships it, often for less than it was costing her to do it herself. Seemed like magic. Seemed too good to be true. It also seemed terrifying. To take her precious hand-carved creations and ship them off to a faceless warehouse in another state? To trust strangers with the most critical physical connection to her customer? It felt like giving up a piece of her company's soul. It also meant spending money, a real recurring expense. Storage fees, pick and pack fees, shipping fees. It was a leap of faith, a bet that her time was more valuable creating new products and marketing them than it was wrestling with a tape gun. The alternative, she realized, was to let her business die. Not from a lack of customers but from an excess of them. It would be death by 1,000 paper cuts, a burnout so complete there would be nothing left to salvage. So she made the call. She researched companies, got quotes, and signed a contract. A week later, she spent 2 full days packing up nearly her entire inventory onto a single pallet. As the freight truck pulled away from her house, taking with it the physical embodiment of her life's work, she felt a terrifying mix of panic and relief. Her living room was empty, quiet. For the first time in months, she could see her sofa. The next morning, her phone made the familiar cha-ching sound. An order had come in. Her old instinct kicked in, a jolt of anxiety, a mental calculation of which box she would need. But then she did nothing. She just watched the order on her screen. A few hours later, a new notification popped up, an email from her 3PL. Order number 1732 has been fulfilled. It included a tracking number. It was done. The ghost in the machine had placed an order, and a different, far more efficient machine, hundreds of miles away, had fulfilled it. The monster had been tamed. And in that moment, Sarah wasn't a packer or a shipper or a customer service rep. She was a CEO. She had bought back her time, her sanity, and her purpose. She was finally free to build the business instead of just being buried by it. But this new level of operational freedom would launch her into a far more dangerous arena. She had solved the problem of scale, but she was about to discover the problem of competition. A problem that would pit her small, artisanal brand against the largest, most ruthless e-commerce giants on the planet. The first sign of trouble wasn't a sudden drop in sales. In fact, it was the opposite. For 6 glorious months, Maria's business was a rocket ship. Her new website, powered by a seamless e-commerce platform, was a finely tuned engine, converting clicks into customers with breathtaking efficiency. The fulfillment center she partnered with was humming, boxes flying out the door, each one a testament to her vision. She'd hired her first 2 employees, local artisans from her town, paying them a wage that reflected their skill, not the bare minimum the market would allow. This was it, the dream. She wasn't just a maker anymore. She was a founder, an employer, a small but vibrant node in the American economy. The internet hadn't just given her a storefront, it had given her a future. But the digital world that builds dreams is also the one that births nightmares. The warning shot came not as a cannonball, but as a quiet email from a loyal customer. It read, "Hi Maria. I absolutely love the wallet I bought from you last year. I was about to buy another one for my dad, but I saw this on Amazon and was confused. Is this you too?" Below the text was a link. With a knot forming in her stomach, she clicked it, and there it was. Her design. Her signature product. Not an interpretation, not something inspired by, but a direct, soulless copy. The shape was identical. The layout was the same. The product photos were even staged in a similar way, mimicking the rustic, authentic style she had spent weeks perfecting. But everything else was wrong. The brand name was a nonsensical jumble of letters, something like Exwalor. The product title was a chaotic string of keywords designed to game the search algorithm. Genuine leather minimalist wallet, RFID blocking slim front pocket for men/women. And then there was the price. It was less than half of hers. Below the price, 2 words that made her blood run cold. Prime shipping. She felt a strange mix of violation and a bizarre, twisted form of flattery. Someone somewhere had seen her success and decided it was worth stealing. But the flattery quickly evaporated, replaced by a cold dread. She scrolled down. There were hundreds of reviews, thousands of sales. An entire ecosystem of commerce was thriving on the back of her creativity, and she wasn't seeing a single dime. Driven by a morbid curiosity, she ordered one. When the gray plastic mailer arrived 2 days later, She tore it open. The product inside felt like a ghost of her own creation. The leather was stiff and smelled of chemicals, not the rich, earthy scent of the full-grain hide she sourced from a tannery in Maine. The stitching was uneven, clearly rushed by a machine calibrated for speed, not durability. It was a hollow replica, a product built not to last but to be sold. To a casual observer, to someone quickly scrolling on their phone, it looked close enough. And in the world of frictionless e-commerce, close enough combined with half the price and free 2-day shipping is an unbeatable formula. This was her introduction to the brutal reality of the modern marketplace. The very platforms that enabled her to reach a national audience were the same platforms that allowed anonymous, overseas factories to clone her work and undercut her with zero accountability. Amazon wasn't a neutral marketplace, it was a jungle. And she was competing against predators with sharper teeth and far fewer scruples. Her sales, once a source of pride, began to plateau. Her first instinct, the classic small business reaction, was to fight back. To compete, she logged into her advertising dashboards, ready to pour more money into Google and Facebook to find new customers. But a new horror awaited her there. The cost to reach people had skyrocketed. A click that cost her 50 cents a year ago now cost $3. An impression that was once a fraction of a penny was now 10 times that. She was in a bidding war, and she didn't even know it. Her little $500 a day ad budget was a grain of sand against the billion-dollar marketing machines of global corporations. She wasn't just bidding for the attention of people who like handcrafted leather goods. She was bidding against Target, which was trying to sell them a new wallet. She was bidding against Fossil, which was trying to sell them a watch. She was bidding against Capital One, which was trying to sell them a credit card to put in their wallet. She was a tiny rowboat caught in the wake of a fleet of supertankers, all fighting for the same sliver of digital real estate. A few seconds of a potential customer's attention. The algorithms didn't care about her story or her craftsmanship. They cared about the highest bidder. And she could never be the highest bidder. Panic began to set in. She opened her spreadsheets, the numbers staring back at her like an indictment. There were only two variables she could change: her price or her costs. She ran the numbers on lowering her price to compete with the Amazon knockoff. To make it work, she'd have to let her 2 employees go. She'd have to stop buying her leather from the main tannery and source cheaper, lower-grade material from a bulk supplier in Asia. She'd have to replace her eco-friendly packaging with plastic. She would have to strip away every single thing that made her brand special. Every value she had built her business on. She would have to become her own evil twin. It was a race to the bottom. A race she was destined to lose against competitors who had started there. The scale of the problem felt insurmountable. It wasn't one bad actor. It was the entire system. A system that promised to democratize commerce but had, in reality, created a new set of gatekeepers. The search engines, the social media platforms, the e-commerce behemoths, they had built the roads, but they charged a crippling toll. They had created a global stage, only to tilt it so steeply in favor of the giants that any small player who managed to climb up would inevitably slide right back down. For the first time, Maria felt truly hopeless. The tools that had liberated her from the constraints of her small town were now shackling her to an impossible standard of global competition. The dream was curdling into a nightmare. She slumped in her chair, staring at her screen, ready to admit defeat. And then she started reading. Not the analytics, not the spreadsheets, but the comments. The customer reviews on her own site. The direct messages on her Instagram. And she noticed something. People weren't just talking about the product. One review said, "I get compliments on this wallet every day. And I love telling them the story of how it was made." An Instagram comment read, "The handwritten thank you note was such a beautiful touch. You can feel the love that goes into this." They were talking about her journey, about the unboxing experience, the smell of the leather, the feeling of owning something with a soul. The Amazon knockoff had thousands of reviews, but they were generic. Good product. Arrived on time. 5 stars. There was no passion, no connection, no story. The anonymous seller was transactional. Maria was relational. And in that moment, the fog of despair began to lift, replaced by a flicker of clarity. She had been trying to fight a battle on her enemy's terms, on price and volume and algorithmic supremacy. It was a war she could never win. But what if she refused to fight that war? What if her greatest vulnerability, her smallness, her personal involvement, her story, was actually her most powerful, unassailable weapon? The giants could copy her product. They could outbid her for ads. They could beat her on shipping, but they could not copy her. They could not replicate her authenticity. They could not fake a genuine connection. She realized she had been so focused on acquiring customers that she had forgotten to build a community. The path forward wasn't about shouting louder in a crowded marketplace. It was about whispering to the people who wanted to listen. It wasn't about winning the click. It was about winning the heart. A new strategy began to form in her mind, one that had nothing to do with price points or ad spend, and everything to do with turning her customers into her champions. The first casualty of this new war for connection was her homepage. Sarah stayed up until 3 in the morning, fueled by coffee and a profound sense of purpose. She ripped out the sterile stock photo banner of a generic smiling family and replaced it with a slightly blurry, flour-dusted photo of her own hands, kneading dough on her grandmother's worn wooden board. The headline changed from "Delicious Cupcakes Delivered Fast" to "A Taste of Home, from our family to yours." She added a new section to the website, not called blog, but the recipe box. The first entry wasn't a recipe for her best-selling cupcake. It was a recipe for her grandmother's Sunday morning pancakes, the one Sarah had messed up 100 times as a little girl. And alongside the ingredients, she wrote the story. The story of waking up to that smell, of her grandmother's quiet patience, of how that kitchen was the center of her universe. She was selling cupcakes, but she was sharing a legacy. Next on the chopping block was her email list. She looked at her last campaign. Flash sale 15% off, everything ends midnight. The open rate was abysmal. The click-through rate was even worse. It was digital shouting and everyone was wearing earplugs. So she deleted the template. She opened a blank email and started typing. Not as a business owner, but as a person. She wrote about her week, about a batch of salted caramel that had completely failed, forcing her to start over. She wrote about the flicker of doubt she felt, that old imposter syndrome creeping in. And then she asked a question. I'm thinking of a new fall flavor. I'm torn between a spiced pumpkin with cream cheese frosting, or a maple pecan with a brown butter glaze. What do you think? What reminds you of autumn? She signed it, not the Sweet Legacy team, but simply, All My Best, Sarah. She hit send to her 3,000 subscribers, her heart pounding. This was either genius or professional suicide. For 24 hours, crickets. The open rate was a little better, but there were almost no replies. The panic set in. Had she completely misread everything? Was this just naive, sentimental nonsense in a world that only cared about price and convenience? She was about to draft an apology email. Just kidding, here's 20% off. When the first reply came in, it was from a woman named Carol in Oregon. Carol didn't just vote for a flavor. She wrote 3 paragraphs about how her father used to make maple pecan pies every Thanksgiving before he passed away, and how the smell of toasted pecans still brought a tear to her eye. She thanked Sarah for sharing her own story, because it made her feel less alone in her own memories. Then another reply came, and another. People weren't just voting. They were sharing their own stories. They were talking about their grandmothers, their first baking disasters, their favorite fall traditions. Sarah wasn't just collecting data. She was collecting pieces of people's lives. Emboldened, she transformed her social media. The perfectly lit, isolated product shots were gone. In their place, she posted a video of herself, hair in a messy bun, laughing as she accidentally spilled cocoa powder all over the counter. She did an Instagram live where she tried to frost a cupcake with one hand while answering questions from the comments. It was raw, unpolished, and completely real. She started a new weekly feature called Customer Creations, where she'd repost photos from customers who had bought her baking kits, celebrating their lopsided cupcakes and slightly burnt cookies as enthusiastically as if they were masterpieces. She created a private Facebook group, not for promotions, but as a community hub. She called it the Tasting Table. In it, people shared their own recipes, asked for baking advice, and posted pictures of their families enjoying her cupcakes. The group became a sanctuary of sweetness and support, a digital version of a small-town bakery counter where everyone knows your name. But the masterstroke was how she reinvented the loyalty program. It was no longer about earning points. She framed it as joining the family. The first time you ordered, you were a customer. The second time, you got a handwritten thank you note from Sarah in the box. The third time, you were invited to the tasting table. On your 5th order, you received a small unreleased test batch cookie with a note that said, "You're one of our most trusted tasters. Let me know what you think of this new idea." She was turning the transactional process of e-commerce into a relationship. She was building an army of advocates, Not by bribing them with discounts, but by including them in the story. They weren't just buying a product. They were investing in her journey. They were rooting for her. The real test came a month later. Based on the overwhelming response to her email, Sarah decided to launch the maple pecan cupcake. But she didn't just add it to the website. She announced to her email list and her Facebook group that our new family flavor is here. She told them that because they helped create it, they would get a 24-hour head start before it was announced to the public. She wasn't creating scarcity. She was creating an inner circle. She was rewarding connection. The night before the community launch, she barely slept. This was it, the culmination of her entire strategic shift. If this failed, the big box algorithm-driven giants were right. It was all about price and speed. The human element was just a quaint, unprofitable fantasy. At 9 a.m., she sent the email and posted in the group. The link went live. The first order came in at 9:01 a.m. from Carol in Oregon. Then another. And another. The orders weren't just for the new cupcake. People were adding her classic flavors, her baking kits, her merchandise. It was an outpouring. By noon, she had sold more than she typically sold in a week. By 4 p.m., every single maple pecan cupcake she had the ingredients for was sold out. She had to post a banner on her site. "You guys are amazing. Our new flavor is sold out thanks to you." She sat back in her chair, staring at the screen, at the flood of comments in the tasting table group. People weren't upset that it was sold out. They were celebrating. "We did it," one comment read. "So proud to be a part of this," said another. They felt a sense of collective ownership. It was their victory. Sarah finally understood. The giants like Amazon could build a bigger, faster, cheaper machine. They could optimize every click and analyze every data point. But they couldn't build this. They couldn't build a family. E-commerce wasn't a machine to be optimized. It was a stage to be shared. And for the first time, Sarah wasn't just a small business owner trying to survive online. She was the heart of a thriving, passionate, and fiercely loyal community that stretched from coast to coast, all built from a tiny kitchen with a story to tell. The game had changed, not because she had learned to play by the rules, but because she had learned how to write her own. And in writing her own rules, Sarah wasn't just building a business. She was forging a new blueprint for the American entrepreneur. Her story, and countless others like it, isn't an outlier. It's the new reality. It's the quiet digital revolution happening in spare bedrooms, garages, and community kitchens across the nation. This isn't just about selling things online. This is about the fundamental reshaping of opportunity in America. For generations, the dream of starting a business was tied to a physical place. A storefront on Main Street, a hefty bank loan, a handshake deal for a lease. It was a dream with a gate, and the gatekeepers were formidable. E-commerce didn't just open the gate. It bulldozed the entire fence. The new Main Street isn't paved with asphalt. It's coded in HTML. Its storefronts are JPGs, and its town square is a social media feed. This digital landscape has become the great equalizer, giving the artisan potter in rural Montana the same potential reach as a department store in Manhattan. It's a world where the quality of your story can matter more than the size of your marketing budget, where a genuine connection with a customer in Ohio can be forged from a laptop in Arizona. This is a profound shift in power, away from monolithic corporations and back into the hands of the individual creator, the family-run operation, the person with a singular brilliant idea. The barrier to entry has never been lower, but the ceiling for success has never been higher. However, this new digital frontier is not a utopia. For every David that builds a slingshot, a dozen Goliaths are building fortresses. The very accessibility that makes e-commerce so revolutionary also makes it brutally competitive. Standing out in an infinite digital aisle is an immense challenge. You're not just competing with the shop down the street anymore. You're competing with a similar shop in every single state and every single country. The algorithms that can make you a star overnight can just as quickly bury you in obscurity. The cost of getting noticed, the price of digital advertising on platforms like Facebook and Google, has skyrocketed, creating a new kind of digital rent that can be just as crippling as a physical one. And looming over it all is the everything store, Amazon, a platform that offers unparalleled reach but demands a steep price, often eroding margins and control over the customer relationship. The challenge for small businesses is no longer just about creating a great product. It's about mastering the complex, ever-shifting ecosystem of digital marketing, logistics, and customer data in a world that never ever sleeps. So where do we go from here? What does the future of small business e-commerce look like as we navigate this complex new world? The answer isn't about trying to out-Amazon Amazon. It's about leaning into the very things that make small businesses different: their humanity, their agility, and their ability to connect on a deeper level. The next wave of e-commerce is being defined by a few powerful trends. First, hyper-personalization. The future belongs to businesses that know their customers not just as data points but as people. We're moving beyond just putting a customer's first name in an email. We're talking about using artificial intelligence not to replace the human touch but to enhance it at scale. Imagine an online clothing store that remembers your style preferences and suggests a new jacket based on the weather forecast in your specific town, or a coffee subscription service that tweaks your next shipment based on your feedback from the last one. These AI tools, once the exclusive domain of tech giants, are now becoming accessible and affordable, allowing a one-person operation to provide a level of personalized service that was previously unimaginable. Second, the explosion of social commerce. The line between browsing and buying is disappearing. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest are no longer just marketing channels. They are the store itself. Live shopping, where a founder can demonstrate a product in real time, answer questions, and build a sense of community and urgency, is becoming the digital equivalent of a bustling weekend market. It's raw, it's authentic, and it converts. For small businesses, this is a golden opportunity. They can sell directly within the ecosystems where their communities already live, turning followers into customers without them ever having to leave the app. It transforms the cold, transactional nature of online shopping into a shared, interactive experience. Third, a radical commitment to sustainability and values. The modern consumer, particularly younger generations, isn't just buying a product. They're buying into a story and a set of ethics. They want to know where their products came from, who made them, and what impact their purchase has on the world. This is a battle that small, mission-driven businesses are uniquely positioned to win. Their transparent supply chains, their use of eco-friendly materials, their commitment to their local communities. These are not just talking points. They are powerful competitive advantages. A large corporation can spend millions on a commercial about how much they care. A small business can prove it with every single package they ship. And finally, the rise of the subscription economy. The holy grail for any business is predictable, recurring revenue. Subscription models, whether it's for coffee, candles, software, or socks, are transforming one-time customers into long-term partners. This model fosters incredible loyalty and provides a stable financial foundation from which a business can grow and innovate. More importantly, it shifts the focus from constantly acquiring new customers to deeply serving the ones you already have. It forces a business to consistently deliver value, month after month, strengthening the relationship and turning customers into passionate advocates for the brand. Ultimately, the technology is just the vessel. The true power of e-commerce for the future of American small business lies in its ability to scale humanity. It allows a founder to share their passion directly with the world, unfiltered. It allows a customer to feel seen and valued, to be part of a community, not just a line item on a spreadsheet. It allows for the creation of niche businesses that could never have survived on a single physical main street, but can now thrive by serving a dedicated global community. The tools will change. The platforms will evolve. AI will get smarter, and virtual reality might one day replace the product photo. But the fundamental human desire for connection, for authenticity, and for supporting someone's dream, that will never change. E-commerce isn't killing Main Street. It's rebuilding it for the 21st century. It's creating a more diverse, more resilient, and more accessible economy where the next great American brand isn't waiting for a venture capitalist's approval. It's already been launched from a laptop by someone with a story to tell, ready to write their own rules and build their own empire, one click at a time.